You know what? I do not care if there were any inconsistencies with regard to reality as far as the work of a TSA agent and all that goes into that. I didn't care. I enjoyed the heck out of this movie. So Carry On is a recent Netflix release. It came out, I don't know, sometime late December. I think they sent me the screener for it 2 days before it was going to go live, and I did not have time to watch it until I went out of town to visit family right after Christmas, and we watched it. I had heard good things about it, and I'm really glad I got to check it out. I'm a little bummed that I wasn't able to watch something like this on the big screen. It didn't go to the big screen. It stars Taron Egerton, if I'm pronouncing his name right, I don't know, Jason Bateman, Theo Rossi, Logan Marshall Green, which I didn't realize until I looked up the cast list. I did not realize that was him. I used to always get him mixed up with Aaron Taylor Johnson for some reason. And it also starred Danielle Deadwyler, who I have never seen before, but I really liked her performance in this. I like the character that she played. The premise of the story is the main character is last minute shifted to work on the line at TSA in LAX, which is a very busy airport. And he is given a mysterious earpiece to put in his ear. He finds it and he receives a call telling him to put it in his ear. He puts it in his ear and he finds out that there is some nefarious plot going on, and he is supposed to just go with it and let certain things happen and do not interfere. And he's being watched, and he is being talked to almost the entire time in his earpiece by this shadowy bad guy, and he doesn't know what's happening, and he's under a lot of stress because this is the first time he's been put on the line. He's wanting to make a good impression and improve his job situation, and so he's got he's just like the worst day ever for his character. There was a crime that had happened at the very beginning, and so a policewoman played by Danielle Deadwyler is investigating that, and she starts to realize the connections between that and some stuff that's happening at LAX. And the hurdles that the main character has to go through is super stressful to watch. Like I said, I do not know how much of what was done in this story would really fly as far as what a TSA agent could get by with doing or not doing or whatever. Like when I watched that movie starring Jake, where he played a 911 dispatcher, I knew, just because my brother is a 911 dispatcher, I knew instinctively and intuitively that the stuff that he was doing would just not fly in the real world. It's very possible that the same thing holds true with the character here, but honestly, I didn't care. And this was probably one of those times where it's best that I didn't know, because I didn't have that to distract me from the story, which I really enjoyed. I mean, it was something that kind of, you have this introduction to the characters, you have a crime at the beginning, then you have introduction to the characters, and then it starts, the conflict is set in motion. I loved the pacing. I felt like the pacing was just right. It felt fine to me. I really liked the editing in here. There's also a really cool scene that happens in a car, and a fight that occurs in a car on the interstate. Oh my gosh, the way that thing was filmed. And I knew about it before I actually watched it because I'd seen people talking about it on Twitter. I didn't watch the clip because I knew I wanted to see the film, but I knew they were referencing the work that was done in that particular scene. You will know it when you see it. It was so good. I was like, wow, that is so impressive. I liked the acting in here. It had interesting characters, compelling characters. I like the girl who played the main character's girlfriend. Her voice, oh my goodness, I don't remember her name, but she has got an ASMR voice. I kid you not. I was like almost put in a trance every time she talked. It was very soothing, and I liked the chemistry between all of the actors as their characters were going on through the story. Jason Bateman, I had heard who he was playing in here, and then when it revealed who it was and it was him, I was like, oh yeah, I'd heard he was going to be in here. He was fine. He did a really good job playing the type of character that he was playing. I mean, Jason Bateman's a good actor, I think. So I had a lot of fun with this. There were only a couple of things that kind of jumped out at me that were a little aggravating, and it was stuff with the characters not doing or doing things that I felt like they should have done or not done. Now, obviously, when you're in a situation like what is happening in this story, maybe you're not going to think as clearly as you do when you're just watching as an unattached observer. But there was a situation where a person is basically in the crosshairs, the red dots showing up on them, and where they were, it was so highly convenient and just perfect timing that they ended up in the exact same spot to where those crosshairs could be put on them. And the other person that is with them, they know that they're in this situation. Like, they find out very quickly that they're in this perfect position for this shot to potentially be taken. And instead of just continuing to run and getting out of the range of view or pulling the person out of sight, out of line of sight, they just stand there and go along with what's happening. And I was like, number one, the convenience of where they stopped, I didn't buy that. And then number two, the fact that they didn't move or act to get out of the situation when they actually really could have, that kind of aggravated me a little bit. That's a minor issue. Another minor issue, this is something that occurs quite a bit in a movie where someone's being chased by a vehicle, and instead of running off to the side and getting out of the way, they just continue to run straight with the vehicle behind them. That occurred in here, and I was like, why are you doing this? Why do they make characters do this? It heightens the tension, but for me, it just aggravates me because we've seen it so many times. But those issues are mild. They're like nothing. Overall, I really enjoyed this film. If you like action-y films, if you like films like, let's say, similar to Die Hard, I mean, this had almost a Die Hard-ish feel because it happens at Christmas time. It's like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or something that this happens. So I'm going to consider this a Christmas movie. And I don't care what anybody says. It's a Christmas movie. And it's one I would not mind rewatching. It was very fun. And I was happy that it was as enjoyable as it ended up being for me. Maybe there are people that have issues with it. If you did, let me know the issues that bothered you. But I was just happy it was a good experience. And that's really all I want when I watch a movie, is to have a good experience. And if I did, I'll tell you. If I didn't, I'll tell you that too. If it's a mixed bag, I'll tell you that too. So those are my thoughts on Carry On. It's currently available on Netflix. And that's it for this video, you guys. Later.